As orbital calculations filtered in, the situation grew more complex. The original atlas maintained a steady trajectory toward the Sun. However, a second atlas settled into a new path, cutting across Mars' orbit. This wasn't mere drift, it was intentional. With each update, it became increasingly evident that this object wasn't just passing nearby Mars. It was converging rapidly toward the area where satellites and rovers were poised for humanity's future. Opinions among scientists began to diverge. Some voiced fears of catastrophic consequences. If Atlas collided with Mars or approached too closely, it could destroy satellites, disrupt the atmosphere, or send debris spiraling toward Earth. Others whispered a more sinister notion. What if Mars wasn't just a target but a chosen destination? The connection between the two halves deepened and remained chilling. Despite their increasing distance, their pulses echoed in perfect harmony, as if synchronized twin beacons were calling out. Instruments detected radiation bursts in unison, as if these celestial bodies shared a singular consciousness across vast distances. Mars-orbiting satellites detected strange fluctuations, with the James Webb Space Telescope reporting distortions in the area, suggesting that the fragment's influence was already reaching across the cosmos. To many, it began to appear less like devastation and more like elaborate expansion. Then, the light transformed. The fragment heading toward Mars projected intricate patterns within its emerald luminescence, spirals, grids, and geometries that felt deliberate. Some patterns mirrored mathematical constants, while others evoked ancient symbols carved long before modern astronomy emerged. Observers felt it wasn't noise but a form of communication, inscribed across the sky in vibrant emerald hues. Soon enough, Mars displayed signs of reaction. Its thin atmosphere reacted in unexpected ways. Dust storms formed spirals with uncanny symmetry that ebbed and flowed in sync with the fragment's energy. Cameras caught flashes in the upper atmosphere, and sensors noted subtle shifts in the planet's minimally existent magnetic field. It appeared Mars was awakening, responding to the impending approach. Yet official channels maintained a resolute silence. NASA and various agencies offered vague explanations regarding peculiar orbital deviations, revealing little more. However, leaks depicted a starkly different scenario: simulations of potential impacts and rising anxiety due to unstable communication with Mars assets surfaced. Files were classified, public data streams severed. The pervasive silence began to communicate louder than any press release could. In the meantime, independent observatories tracked the fragment as it crossed the asteroid belt. What they discovered shook even the most skeptical minds. The synchronized pulses from both Atlas entities began aligning not only with each other but also with Mars. A low-frequency hum resonated through instruments, embedding itself into orbiters, rovers, and even seismographs embedded in Martian soil. Rhythmic quakes vibrated through the planet's crust, synchronized with the emerald heartbeat residing above. It felt as though Mars had been drawn into the signal, resonating with something vast and extraterrestrial. As the fragment approached Mars' orbit, its glow intensified into defined bursts. Spirals, hexagons, and triangles, celestial geometries illuminated against the infinite night. Each shape lingered for minutes before dissolving into the next. These weren't mere sunlight reflections but adhered to precise ratios, resonating with the architecture of Earth's ancient structures. Legend spoke of green stars dividing, returning as heralds. Now, watching Atlas sketch equations across the sky, many pondered if these myths had been warnings, fragments of memory etched into stone to prevent humanity from forgetting. Then Mars' two small moons, Phobos and Deimos, became entangled in this phenomenon. Phobos slightly adjusted its orbit, influenced by an unexplainable force. Deimos glowed softly with a green hue, pulsating in sync with the fragment. Rovers captured images, but many returned corrupted and marred by emerald static. Some theorists speculated the moons acted as receivers or amplifiers for whatever resonance Atlas was amplifying. Others believed Mars was undergoing preparation, stirred awake by a signal older than humanity. On Earth, telescopes and satellites malfunctioned in a disturbingly synchronized manner. Observatories shut down. Radio dishes filled with structured static, sounds that were almost melodic yet overlapped with noise. Files became corrupted, servers crashed. Efforts to disseminate findings online faced abrupt outages or inexplicable cyberattacks. For the first time, humanity found itself blinded to the cosmic truths, grasping at fragmented revelations slipping away. As the fragment continued its approach, seismic instruments on Mars detected deep, rhythmic vibrations unlike anything recorded before. Dust storms glowed faintly green, swirling into hexagonal shapes and spirals. To some, it appeared the planet was responding, not in resistance but in a carvings illustrated patterns, spirals, luminous bridges, and twin spheres descending together. Were these merely coincidences, or could they be echoes of a witnessed past? If Atlas had traversed our skies before, then its return was no mere happenstance. It marked a recurring cycle, aligned with disturbing precision. And if the myths held true, Mars was never just another planet. It was a focal point, a chosen stage in a process beyond human understanding. As the fragment approached Mars, unusual changes unfolded across the red planet. Dust storms transformed from chaotic into vast spirals that could be seen from orbit. Satellites captured bursts of green lightning tearing through the thin Martian atmosphere, each flash synchronized with pulsations from the fragment. Some deemed this electrical interference. Others perceived the order within the turbulence and understood, this was not just weather. Mars was responding, becoming a canvas reflecting Atlas's signals. One by one, humanity's robotic explorers fell silent. The rovers, once diligently mapping Mars, began transmitting corrupted files, marked with static and green tones. Engineers struggled to regain contact, only to discover entire systems defied commands, as though a force was intentionally silencing them. In rare moments when data transmitted successfully, unsettling images emerged. Geometric shapes etched in the dust, shadows distorted across the horizon, and once, a green glow rising beyond the dunes. NASA dismissed these as technical glitches, but whispers circulated among those privy to the files. The machines weren't malfunctioning, they were being muted. As the evidence accumulated, the scientific community split. Some maintained that Atlas was merely a natural phenomenon, peculiar but uninformed. Others contended it was something greater, a construct or even a sentient being. Leaked intelligence hinted that military satellites tracked the fragment, viewing it not as a comet but as a potential menace. For the first time ever, humanity wasn't debating the existence of extraterrestrial life in theory. Instead, it was contending with how near it already was. In the ensuing days, seismic monitors detected rhythmic vibrations deep within Mars's crust. These weren't ordinary quakes, they echoed the energy pulse of the fragment. The remaining rovers reported strange magnetic fluctuations, suggesting something expansive beneath the surface was awakening. Some speculated volcanic activity was reviving. Others whispered that Mars had always been in waiting, dormant, harboring secrets only Atlas could uncover. Then, the resonance surged across the cosmos. Earth's radio telescopes began detecting faint echoes of the pulse binding the fragments together. Initially dismissed as random noise, the signals intensified, growing structured and repeating with astonishing accuracy. When visualized, they displayed spirals and hexagons, the identical patterns carved into ancient stones, the same geometry shining on Mars. What began as a Martian phenomenon had crossed the abyss. The message had arrived. Governments rushed to control the narrative. Independent researchers posting initial findings online discovered their accounts deleted, their data retracted. Nonetheless, enough information escaped to verify the reality. Atlas was not limited to Mars. Its signal was reaching Earth. And if this was communication, then we were already engaged in the dialogue. For months, humanity had observed Atlas pulsating like a living heart across the sky. Upon its division, one piece ventured towards the Sun, while the other intentionally directed itself toward Mars. Now, as Mars vibrated with resonance and Earth quaked with echoes, the meaning became increasingly undeniable. Atlas was not on a collision course, it was awakening. The emerald eclipse, silenced rovers, seismic pulses, symbols drawn in storms and light, all pointed toward one conclusion: Atlas did not arrive to annihilate. It was stirring something, and Mars was merely the beginning. The signals have already reached us. No longer faint, they pulse through the skies, hum in our machinery, and reflect the myths humanity has carried for millennia. Civilizations that witnessed this cycle before us left warnings carved in stone. 2 stars, green serpents, a red world at the core. They remembered what we are just beginning to uncover. NASA's silence may be the loudest indication of all. They are aware the signals are present. They know Mars has been transformed. And they recognize this is not a coincidence. Voyager, Webb, and every instrument observing Atlas converge on the same reality. It is neither a comet nor an asteroid. It represents a presence, a design, a purposeful process. Now we wait. The pressing question is not whether Atlas exists, but what it intends. Has Mars been selected as its cradle, or is it merely the initial step towards something larger, something bound to reach Earth? Because these signals no longer remain confined to another world. They resonate within our planet's fabric.